Good afternoon, everyone who is attending our session. And our session is on open educational resources for collaborative online and distant education and exchange. Actually, we are, all of us, or most of us, had experience on online teaching and learning. And I believe that we are experts in this field. However, we sometimes challenging in teaching process situation that our learners are not so active in a process. And what to do, how to engage students to be active in a process, how to plan our teaching. This is issue and this is question we have started with. And actually, I would like to introduce one team, one project team, and this team is leading by TU Dresden from Germany. And also we are full country consortia, partners are from Slovenia. My name is Aušra Rutkienė, and I am from Lithuania, from Vytautas Magnus University, and also we have partners from Austria. And this session is organized in a framework of Erasmus project, abbreviation of the project OER-CODEX. And the idea of the project is introduce a conceptual framework of collaborative online international learning. And the focus, what we are going to present, what's standing behind the idea, and what are the background of this idea. And also we will present during this session things what we developed and what we are planning to develop during the project activities. I believe that you will find some interesting aspects, and at the end we will let you know some more information about this questions aspects, and I believe that we will have a discussion at the end. But now I would like to ask, start my colleagues and coordinators of coordinator of this project, Professor Eric.
Thank you very much, Aušra. I will take over the lead for the next approximately 10 minutes as we scheduled our participative communication with our audience. I try to share my screen, giving you first background information what this topic is all about. No, what is this not? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. So we will, let me see if I can get the laser pointer activated. Fine. So, okay. So what it is all about? We are talking now about COIL, Collaborative Online International Learning. And my role now in the next 10 minutes is to introduce you into the history behind. What was our motivation to start this common project, which is focusing on production and provision of open educational resources to explain and to have participants train the idea of providing collaborative online courses for distance education and virtual exchange. So how did it start? Let me refer to the European context. Just a second. Here we are. The European context, if you look to the lower right side, it's dated from 2001, just immediately after starting of the so-called Bologna process. The European Commission announced The European education and training system has to encourage the personal growth of European citizens in three aspects: skills, adaptability, and mobility. Working together in groups with other disciplines, adjust to new situations, and be able to work and communicate with others across national boundaries. So this is more than 20 years old information. And what is the next motivation? We need to shift our conception about today's students. COIL said in 2008, universities, think about what jobs your students can get if they follow your courses. So are they really provided for the complex and getting more and more complex demands of society, business, organizations? What are we teaching? What are we transferring to our students? 2015, Paris Sabata and co-authors said, we see a shift from the manufacturing work to the knowledge work. We have to cover large geographical distances. The working from home did not start in 2020 with the COVID-19 lockdown. This is 5 years earlier. The increasing importance and self-managing teams, and now the picture of the nomadic worker working from home office or from some other country, from a travel abroad, and participating fluently. So our conception of today's students has to address, has to tackle with these increasing demands. Also, an idea more than 10 years old is the term of the 21st century skills. I just took this one of a lot of publications on that topic as an example. In 2012, 21st century skills were mentioned. So what is it all about? We have to change as educators our understanding what is teaching, what is learning. Our role will shift from teaching and transferring knowledge, rather to moderate, enable, and foster students' learning processes. That's the idea. In 2017, the European Union came up with the international framework of digital competencies of educators. And as you can see here, the educators do not only have to possess and to refine their professional competencies, their professional engagement, but also develop their digital resource competence, sourcing, creating, sharing digital resources, and the area of teaching and learning. So it is about applying digital resources, and by this changing our attitude to teaching and our understanding of teaching and learning, change our assessment approach. We want to empower learners, and in this third cycle, the learners' competences are addressed. They are empowered. Transversal competences. They have, we want to facilitate their digital competence and also, of course, their professional subject-specific competences. Here we see it a little more in details and the connections between these three roles of educators and their pedagogics and the learners' competence. And if we just focus on the highlighted area on the right side, those are the 21st century skills: information literacy, media literacy, communication skills, content creation skills, responsible use of content and information, and the competence to solve real-world problems. And our learners do that by the means of collaborative learning, self-regulated learning. We want to enable them to become actively engaging learners. That's the issue. And now the question arrives, how can I implement this framework to our everyday educators' use and doing? Let us refer to the well-known Bloom's taxonomy, a didactic model, a flipped classroom and COIL annotation. We know we can transfer knowledge by captured lectures, have addressing the lowest two levels. Students remember what they saw and heard in a lecture. They understand it maybe. if they get exercises, they can train their understanding, and we address the applicability. If it goes to the higher levels, we provide seminars where we conceptualize the basic content already transported beforehand, where we integrate research perspectives, and where we train case study work in breakout rooms, in real rooms, to evaluate and have students take their own positions on the topics we discuss. And it is here in the upper level where collaborative online international learning wants to reach out as a methodology to integrate students from different areas, different regions, different disciplines, different cultural backgrounds, to integrate them into active, collaborative, online, and maybe international learning. So the early approach was to find and group learners in mixed groups across locations, provide learning based on case studies, develop self and social competencies, apply social software functionality, provide closed collaborative platforms, easy to use and easy to analyze, provide innovative, formative learning assessment, develop competencies, 21st century skills, and guide the students, give them a tight guidance how they collaborate, because collaboration skills also have to be learned. And when students are used to traditional lecturing and traditional exercises and seminars on site in real classroom, they have slowly to adapt under the guidance of tutors to this team working, self-organization, online working. So that's what we came out with: international, interdisciplinary, collaborative learning environments based on social learning analytics and educational data mining, providing dashboards of information about the achievements of the student learners, and support by chatbots, conversation agents. That's the whole framework we developed over the last 22 years. We named it in 2001 Virtual Collaborative Learning. And this framework now has been applied in 80 successfully teaching courses where students gained ECTS credits and grades. Participating students, as we can see in this colored picture, from all over the world, coming together into multinational learner schools, working virtually, collaborating, learning from each other, and understanding learning as gaining new knowledge, new experience, new skills, even outside the basic knowledge and professional context they are working on. Some recent international funding projects of my chair supporting the design, implementation, and development of COIL competencies. We worked with Jordan universities, with Albanian universities, with Ukrainian partners, the Western Balkan area, and now again, we will start with other Ukrainian partners in the next years coming up. And today we focus on this funded projects, OER-CODEX. So we want to provide you, educators, with open educational resources, free access resources, or online courses which demonstrate and train you how to design and create OER on yourself collaboratively. And the OER we are discussing, the format of education, are the instruments to design collaborative online learning courses. So it is open educational resource materials how to do collaborative online learning. And that's the idea which we repeat by this picture. We want to enable our learners with this functionality. We are standing here, so we have to go this way, and OER-CODEX as a project wants to support you on this way. There is a framework behind with 4 perspectives: the tutoring perspective, guidance of the online learners, dedicated case studies, to be developed to support case-based learning. Cases not for 90 minutes on-site discussion. Also, it's not about simulation. These are 2-month extended cases for students to work on collaboratively for a whole semester. A technical platform supporting collaboration and also learning analytics I shortly mentioned. So these 4 perspectives will be detailed a little more in the next minutes by my research associate, Mattis Altmann. Here are my sources I refer to, and so I hand over now to Mattis Altmann.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Schoop, for the introduction here. My name is Mattis Altmann. I'm working also in Dresden at the chair of information management, and I'm happy here to present you today the virtual collaborative learning framework with the topic how to organize COIL projects. And as Professor Schoop already explained a little bit, the interlocked gear wheels of virtual collaborative learning, I will go into detail of those wheels. But before we start, what is the aim of COIL? What is the aim of doing collaborative international learning? It's virtual mobility, but what is virtual mobility? So just 2 slides here to explain our main frame. So virtual mobility is a modern ICT and it enables more flexible, interactive, attractive, and user-friendly collaborative virtual exchange settings. And it allows to bring local students together with students abroad at an affordable price using virtual devices. And social media and tools like Microsoft Teams and Office 365, but also Zoom, allow an active participation in virtual group learning processes, which significantly increases the learning success compared to passive reception. And that's really the point here, the collaboration of students. So not just receiving and consuming knowledge, but collaboratively building, creating, like in the taxonomy of Bloom, Professor Schoop referred to, knowledge within a group. And those virtual collaborations can be summarized under the term virtual mobility. Van Schaik had a nice definition of virtual mobility: the use of information and communication technologies, ICT, to obtain the same benefits as one would have with physical mobility, but without the need to travel. So what are the characteristics here of virtual mobility and also COIL projects? So it's a cooperation of at least 2 higher education institutes with ICT supported learning environment with virtual components, the collaboration of participants with different backgrounds, cultures, heterogeneous group structures here are very important to create an immersive virtual mobility experience for the students. And those students are working and study together and create a virtual community where they interact, where they are creating knowledge, where they are creating their own learning path. Also in the sense of self-directed and problem-based learning. And also a clear formulation of the learning activities and objectives is crucial to ensure a proper working virtual mobility experience for students. And the main purpose is the exchange of knowledge and improvement of the intercultural competence, but also of soft skills like interdisciplinary skills and also the international experience. And the most crucial thing here is the recognition of the course at the respective home institutions of students, so that the students can acquire ECTS or study credit points. If you don't have any recognition of study credit points, there will be an unequal weight within the module if you mix international groups, which will lead to a lack of motivation. But enough from theory, let's get into practice. Professor Schoop referred to 4 design dimensions for virtual collaborative learning. And the first one I will present here is the so-called case study. And in those case studies, you have 2 types of learning objectives. One is the formation of own competencies in the area of teamwork, conflict management, collaboration, and communication in an international team, which can more be referred to soft skills, but they are very important even after the study cycle or the graduation of the students in their real world working areas afterwards. And the second one are the professional competencies, in this case in the area of business models, digitalization, and human resources. For this case, we have designed a case study with the mission to develop a startup business idea with the focus in the field of ecotourism in Albania. And we asked the students to be creative and think outside the box, including a platform business model, work out a financial plan, including the usage of prize money to bring the startup to life. And they have 8 weeks time for this. And they are absolutely free on how they do their learning path, with which tools they are coming to their final startup idea. They just have the precondition to develop a startup business with the focus on ecotourism in Albania. What could such a case study look like? You can see here an example of last year's virtual collaborative learning module, where you can see green and yellow bars, and those green bars are synchronous activities where all come together in a virtual video chat session or in a webinar like we are doing here, and those yellow faces are asynchronous phases. So the students can work on the learning platform self-paced. They can decide when they meet up, when they do their work, if at 2 in the night or at 6 in the morning. They can do everything self-paced. And in those yellow phases, you can see it here, you have like 2 weeks going on where the students have tasks on a weekly basis and hand them in. And afterwards, they have a workshop again where they can use the knowledge they have acquired within the asynchronous phases. Just as a glimpse here to show how VCL could look like. And those students, when they are doing this case study, are accompanied by qualified e-tutors. You can see here in the upper part of the image the team formation, the participants, and their intercultural, interdisciplinary, and intersectional groups, and every group chooses a project manager, and this project manager is in direct contact with the e-tutors who accompany the learning process with formative feedback and also with support regarding tools and organization. Just as a short conclusion about the e-tutors, so they accompany the group process, monitor group activity. They are the first point of contact for all questions and problems. They give feedback regarding technical, organizational, and teamwork questions, and they also give obligatory feedback after the first 2 weeks and afterwards just on demand, but they will not give content-related feedback, as it's a self-paced learning format with very open tasks, and they will not work with the students on the results. And we always ask students to create an extra e-tutor channel, and on which platform they do, I will show on the next slide. We use the Office 365 complete group collaboration solution for a certain reason, because you have an all-in-one package. You provide the students with this software and they can do every task they want because they have a range of tools. They can email, they can schedule meetings, they can have calls, video calls, audio calls, they can chat. They can create, edit, and share content via the cloud function, using the Office 365 software range like PowerPoint, like Word. Everything is on board, so there's no extra requirement for the students. They can use chat, and they are always connected because the Microsoft Teams solution offers an app for every mobile device, laptops, pads, so you can always be somehow connected. It's like an omni-channel solution where the students can decide on which channel they like to communicate But when you, as an educator, are designing such platforms, you need a couple of decisions to be made. For example, how to arrange students groups and the workspace, which permissions you may have, how to contact single students groups, the whole class, and how to assign tasks and share task results within the platforms. And you can use elements like groups or teams or channels, tools, directories, tabs, tasks, calendars, massage, data filling, course enrollment, and so far. So there's a lot, but you have a big tutorial base here where you can always have a look how it works. So we are not selling Microsoft Teams. We don't get any money, but we have a very good experience with this tool. And you can also use Google Classrooms or any other tool which may fits in this context. Last but not least, the learning analytics, the fourth gear wheel supporting here our virtual collaborative learning framework. And the objectives of learning analytics are to recognize difficulties like inactivity, conflicts, and other stuff at an early stage and reduce the workload of e-tutors and supervisors and enabling the improvement through measurement of this module. So an iterative improvement. It also increases the objectiveness of formative evaluation. Yes, that's right. We're doing formative evaluation. This means that 30% of the evaluation is going to the team performance and to the individual performance of the student. So if you have a free rider doing nothing for the group work, he or she might get not so a good grade as the other peers. So for this case, formative evaluation is very good. And so learning analytics should also establish comparability. And in the virtual room, meaningful data on users' activities, their interactions with learning content, and the interactions among each other must be identified, recorded, processed, and made available in an understandable form. And how this looks like, I will show you on the next slide. So here you can see an actual example of our learning analytics we are running. So this is now an, I would say, anonymized dashboard you can see here, where you can see the activity over time of the group, like what kind of chat messages, private messages, call count, but also the synchronous activity, if they have meetings, when they have meetings, the chat messages per group, but also ad hoc or scheduled meetings per group. And in the actual version, you can also see if they're communicating on topic, off topic, and with whom or what. And all those data traces help our e-tutors to make meaningful interventions. So it's like a decision support system here. But this just as a short glimpse. I now have 2 slides more, and we have a recommendation for action here for you if you want to realize COIL modules with the so-called MOVE IT acronym. MOVE IT means the M for mobility preparation. So you need an intensive organizational preparation, ensuring ECTS or study point recognition. Otherwise, the motivation will vary. The obligatory feedback, especially at the beginning for students, is crucial as they could get lost in the virtual space. So it should be encouraged, but also peer feedback has a very important role here, in special concerning the motivation of students. Then the V for virtual collaboration platform. It enables synchronous, asynchronous, and transparent communication, as well as encouragement and support the intercultural exchange and the teaching transfer. So just as a fact sheet for planning, if you want to have a brainstorm session for your first COIL module, you're having a new partner, these could be points you could discuss at your first meeting, which institutions are involved here and which roles they might have, which fields of study, number of participating students, the time spent, students per team, roles per team, the VCL theme and the cover story, as well as the task blocks you could see here. And this is just an example, and also my last slide here, how we are doing transfer of virtual collaborative learning. An actual example from the COWEB project, which is actually running. You can see here, every country has a local VCL in summer 2024 on their own. So just to get used to the concept and to the framework, then we have a regional VCL where they partner up with regional partners, and afterwards in international VCL in summer 2025, where all the partners have learned and expired at least 1 or 2 VCL modules all together with in some 10 partners in Europe. We have successfully done this transfer in the ValueX project and also in the Jovital project, and this is all from my side. You can see my references here and some resources. If you would like, you can use the didactical design patterns, also scanning the QR code here, and you can also have access to recent case studies we have designed and literature about it. That's all from my side. I hand over now to my colleague Nelli, who will present the OER-CODEX project in detail. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mattis. And now floor goes to Nelli. She's the main coordinator of our project.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Yes. Well, also a warm welcome from my side. I will be introducing today our OER-CODEX project that stands for Open Education Resources for Collaborative Online and Distance Education and Exchange. And at first, I would like to to sum up the initial problem situation that we have at the moment. I already heard a lot of information from Professor Schoop and also from my colleague Mattis Altmann. And it's important to say that at this moment, educators are willing to enhance their physical courses with online learning, with the collaborative form, or with the blended learning arrangements. However, they lack expertise. Sometimes they lack also the technological skills, or they lack the access to the accessible content that would help them to actually centralize their efforts and to start something altogether on the organizational level, which means that the educators are now individually facing the challenges. And we thought that it would be great to tackle these ones on the organizational level.
Nelli, could you share your full screen? Now we see slides on bottom. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, I can. Okay, this is interesting because I see the full screen.
Okay.
You have to shift the presentation, Anzeigen tauschen, oben links.
I don't see it because I have the presentation mode on my computer.
It sometimes happens that it is changing.
Is it better now?
Mm. Yes.
Can you see the slides? Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thanks.
How it works. All right. So coming back to the current challenge, as I've already said, that at this moment there is lack of international cross-institutional initiative to implement online and blended learning in a systematic and accessible manner. And that's why we have created a project that would help to combine the open education resources paradigm with the collaborative online learning. And within this project, we aim to provide educators with OER online courses. And these ones depict how to design and create OERs in a collaborative manner. And each course has a collaborative online task that allows educators to work together, to collaborate together, and to create the OER content while being inside the course. We have 4 project partners. The first project partner is Emuni, that is represented by Nada Trank and Valerij Dermol. They're also present here, and they will hold the presentation a little bit later. And they have the expertise in management, in higher education, and quality in tertiary education. We have the second partner, which is IMSC Fachhochschule Krems, represented by Sarita Paudel. She is also present with us. And their focus is on the virtual reality, data science, and artificial intelligence. We have the VDU, represented by Aušra and Giedrė, and their expertise lies in OER production and teaching, as well as the virtual mobility. And the Technical University of Dresden, represented by Professor Schoop and me, who have the expertise in online collaborative learning and learning analytics. So far, we have envisioned the 6 project results that also refer to the areas of our expertise. And the first result is already available on our website, is the methodology, the handbook that helps educators to create OER courses while applying the online collaborative learning as well. And today we are going to present cluster number 1, which is currently in the piloting stage. And this one focuses on the digital resources in online collaborative learning. Further clusters, cluster number 2, 3, and 4, will be published later on, and we'll be also piloting them in order to test how well can the educators engage in such kind of arrangements and what has to be still changed in order to make it accessible for everyone. Clusters 2 and 3 are focusing on the online guidance and facilitation. It refers to the e-tutoring, also something that was mentioned today by Mattis, Altmann, and Professor Schoop. And we will also be dealing with the assessment in online collaborative learning with the help of learning analytics and conversational agent technology. And at the end of the project, we will go into the gamification, virtual reality environments in order to create an interesting experience for the participants. And all of the courses, as well as the content that will be generated by the participants of those courses, will be later on published in the OER repository and will be accessible to everyone who's willing to learn about open education resources and online collaborative learning. So here you can also see the overview of our clusters and of the results that we envision. So we are now in the cluster number 1. And Aušra and Giedrė will introduce the 2 courses to you. And maybe if you're going to be interested, you can still join the piloting phase that will kick off tonight. And in total, we will be producing 9 courses that will be afterwards published in a OER repository, along with the content that will be generated by the participants. And each of the course is structured in a similar way. We have the introduction to the course, we have lessons with different multimedia to make it appealing for the participants. We have a quiz that you will be able to take after you finalize the course. And we also have one collaborative assignment for each course in which you're able to collaborate together with other educators and to produce OER content. We also have a forum for asynchronous communication. So all of the communication regarding the courses will take place in our platform, and the courses, they are closed right now for the piloting stage. And right now I would do a short introduction regarding the 2 courses that are taking part in cluster number 1. So the first course is dedicated to the digital resources, and it will help you to develop the competencies of selecting, creating, managing, protecting, and sharing different digital resources in the context of online collaborative learning. And the course number 2 is called Case Study Design, which is comprised of different methods and strategies that would support you to develop your own case studies, very important specifically in the online collaborative learning context, because it differs to in comparison to the traditional case studies. And also these case studies and these tools will allow you to create any case study regardless of your expertise field and regardless of the field of teaching. And at this point, I would like to hand over to our colleagues, Aušra and Giedrė, so they can go into detail and present the 2 courses to you.
Okay, thank you, Nelli, a lot. I see you can see my screen. So thank you for the quick overview of the overall cluster. And today I would like to continue this session by presenting you the courses developed as part of Cluster 1, Open Educational Resources for Collaborative Learning, in a bit more detail. As Nelli has mentioned, there will be 4 clusters developed encompassing 9 courses in total. So this is the very first initial cluster, like experimental one, and we're starting the piloting phase tonight. Nelli has mentioned that as well, and if you are interested, you are still welcome to join. So this cluster consists of 2 courses. One is the first one focuses on digital resources, and the second one on case studies. And Nelli had already mentioned that both of them have 3 lessons, a quiz, a final collaborative assignment, where learners are asked to develop open educational resource in collaboration, either in interdisciplinary or in international groups. And before we move to the overview of the course 1, I want you to reflect and maybe to rethink the teaching and learning.
I can change the meeting room.
Yeah, you can
I'm
try.
sorry. Sarita, we can hear. Okay, thank you. So I encourage you to think of your own teaching and learning materials that you use in classes. Do you think they meet the criteria and definition of open educational resources? Are you sure that the images that you use are licensed to be shared or reused? Do you know how to attribute the resources that you create or share? And if you feel that you're not sure about these things, maybe the course digital resources might be a good starting point for you. So this course is prepared for higher education teachers who are novice in the topic of open educational resources, but want to gain knowledge and skills in identifying, creating, sharing open educational resources, and recognizing copyrighting them. And while being novice, we mean that they need very basic and general understanding of what open educational resources are. So the training material follows elements of the DCOMP-EDU framework, area 2, which is digital resources, aiming to qualify higher education teachers as integrators who can enhance diverse teaching practices with online collaborative learning methods. Therefore, the course aims to develop teachers' competencies to select, create, manage, protect, and share digital resources in the context of online collaborative learning. As you can see in the slide, the course consists of an introductory part, glossary with key concepts, and 3 lessons that have subunits. And each lesson covers theoretical materials presented in textual or video format, a concise summary of theoretical materials presented in the PowerPoint slides, as well as self-assessment quiz, and materials for self-studying to help to deepen your knowledge. And of course, next to this, participants are given with the practical information on how to conduct the course, navigate the virtual learning environment. And at the end of the course, they do have a final quiz and a final collaborative assignment. So the scope of the course is planned for around 55 hours. That would be equivalent to some 2 ACTSs. And course participants, at the end, if they succeed, they can receive 2 types of certificates. One is certificate of attendance for those who just audited the course and took the quiz. And then certificate of achievement for those participants who took the quiz, succeeded with the quiz, and completed the final collaborative assignment. And these certificates will be the same for any other courses and clusters. So if you are more interested in other topics, please feel just maybe contact us so we can inform you about the upcoming piloting phases and when you can join other courses, and maybe you are interested in receiving a certificate next to studying and learning new topics. So to give you a short overview of what lessons are about, we start with the introduction, of course, defining what open educational resources are. And this project will follow the definition provided by UNESCO, where they say that OERs are defined as teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no cost access, use, adaptation, and redistribution by others with no or limited restrictions. So when we say open educational resource, it can be anything, including complete study programs or courses, as well individual video materials, assessment instruments, databases, maybe simulations, lectures, and all things like that that can be exploited for educational purposes. As mentioned, open educational resources have unique rights associated with the content that is often referred to as 5 Rs. And these 5 Rs stand for retain, revise, remix, reuse, and redistribute. I'm not going to explain them in detail now, but you can find all this information in the training material in more details. And of course, we have additional links to video materials and other resources that can explain it even in more detail. So these 5 Rs help serve as a simple way of remembering activities that a license must allow you to undertake with an educational resource for it to be publicly considered as an open educational resource. Of course, in the training material, we overview the advantages and disadvantages of using open educational resources for teaching and learning, and we try to present information how open educational resources might support educators and institutions, and at the same time, what teachers should keep in mind when being aware of the disadvantages that open educational resources might raise. In the second lesson, we focus more on the production of open educational resources. So here we provide and introduce the workflow for producing open educational resources that was created by Menke and the University of Hawaii, where they propose a 5-step strategy for a successful OER development process, where teachers are led through the research, pre-production, design, development, and publishing phases. And the list of questions provided in this workflow can help teachers to rethink the most important elements of open educational resources that are being created. And following this, of course, we come to a very important question regarding the quality of open educational resources. And you've probably thought already about the fact that the internet is full of different sources of information suitable for learning. However, while there are quite many really good resources available for teaching and learning, the question often arises as to whether these resources are reliable and of high quality. And this is an important question to keep in mind when using these resources in your classes, when you create new resources, or when you encourage learners to create open educational resource. So these are aspects that need to be taken in consideration, and these are also presented in the course 1. And here we, in this training material, we provide a quality assessment instrument provided by Open Science Experts Panel, where they suggest a criteria-based form of a checklist to assess the quality of open educational resource. And this guidelines focus to 5 criteria with detailed quality dimensions following the basic, advanced, and the highly advanced levels. Of course, in the last lesson, in the 3rd lesson, we already talk about the difference between free and open between public domain, copyright, and these issues, just being this last lesson more practical, you know, and allowing teachers to understand how to assign the license and what needs to be taken into consideration when we create already the resource and we want to publish it. So we introduce teachers to the Creative Commons licensing, where that gives everyone the public permissions to use their creative work under copyright law. From the user's perspective, this license answers the question, what can I do with this work? And the license consists of 4 elements that you can see in symbols, small symbols and license icons, which can be combined into 6 different licenses that are presented in the slide. And this allows each author to choose the license that suits them best. As you can see, these licenses refer to different level of openness. If we look at the top of the slide, you can see the most open, we can say, license, but still it is not considered to be as public domain, while at the bottom are less open license types. And all this information, of course, is presented in a more detailed, consistent way, you know, to help teachers to understand how all this should be planned. And of course, we give a link for teachers on how to assign the license, how to follow the steps provided on the Creative Commons website, where you can answer each question, and they will end up in generating the license code and license text, that you should add to your resource. So in such a way, this training material should lead teachers who are newcomers in this topic from the very conceptual introduction of what open educational resources are to a practical guidelines that might result at the end of the course in a licensed open educational resource that all who are interested in this topic will be able to access after the project is finished. And of course, we provide all the resources that support regarding the platforms or tools that can be used to create open educational resource. And you can find this course on the project website if you scan QR code or if you go to OER-CODEX. Now it is not open, completely open, like you still have to register, but please keep in mind that this we're just starting now the piloting phase. And after it is finished and we make amendments and changes, we will make it open for everyone's use. And we do hope to make it open by the end of this year. And now we can talk about course 2. And here I think, Nelli, you're
Sure.
going to give a short overview.
Yes, I would take it over and present the course number 2 to you. The target group remains the same. We're looking for educators, higher education teachers who are new in the topic of OER and OCL, but who wish to gain the necessary knowledge, methods, and tools in order to be able to implement these 2 paradigms within their teaching practice. And the course number 2 aims to equip educators with all of the methods, strategies, and tools that they need in order to be able to design the case studies in the context of online collaborative learning. And these methods and tools will be allowing you to design any case study in any teaching field or your field of work. And on the next slide, we will see a short structure of the course. So just like with the first course, we would have some introductory material, the glossary, the guidelines on how to conduct the course. And then we will have the 3 main lessons. The first one, it was too fast, Giedrė. It was too fast. The first lesson refers to the foundations of the VCL framework that was presented to you multiple times today. This is the framework that will be introduced in the first sub-lesson, we will also talk about the different VCL dimensions, and case study is one of them, and then discuss the VCL cycle on how to start with the case study, how to choose the topic, how to work on it, how to implement it afterwards. And of course, for each of the lessons, you will receive further study material. So in case you're interested in this topic and you want to dive deeper, you will have the necessary references that would help you to deepen your knowledge. In the second lesson, we would deal with the, it's still too early, yeah. In the second lesson, we would deal with the key elements of effective case studies. And here we will discuss the active learning approach, which is very essential and important for the case study design in the context of the online collaborative learning. And this is exactly what differs the case studies within the online collaboration from the usual case studies that we know from Harvard, for example. We will also discuss the importance of the authentic case study design, what it is, how to make it be authentic and interesting for your students. We would tackle the formal and informal learning objectives, and then go over to lesson number 3, in which we will show you an exemplary case study that we created 1 year ago at our chair, and you will go through every single step of the choice of the topic, of how to create subtasks, on how to navigate through the platform, or on how does it actually work in practice when the students get together and start working on the case. And then you would have also the final quiz and the final collaborative assignment, after which, if you fulfill it and it's going to be accepted, you will get a certificate of achievement with 2 ECTS. And just a short glimpse into the 3 lessons. In the first lesson, we would be dealing with the VCL framework, and we would talk about the case study and its role within the online collaborative learning. We will talk about the technical platform that you have to choose in order to enable your students to work together in little groups and deal with the tasks. And we would also discuss how learning analytics can support you with the evaluation of the results of the output of the work of the students, and how the e-tutors can support you, the course instructors and creators, with the course itself. In the second lesson, we will be also dealing with the VCL cycle. We will explain it in detail. It looks a little bit complicated here, but actually it's pretty easy. Whenever we're dealing with the online collaborative learning with the project, we also have we always have 5 stages. At first, we need to analyze the target group. We need to analyze what are the interests of the students in order to be able to create a case study that would be interesting for them, that would have a realistic touch, and also would be authentic. Then in the second stage, we will deal with the conception, on how to actually work on it, on how to divide everything in subtasks, on how to, in the third stage, prepare the piloting phase of your case study. And then, of course, how is it we have to consider at the end while we are evaluating our work and making the lessons learned for the next cycle. And in the third lesson, we would be dealing, you can skip the slide, we will be dealing with the exemplary case. Giedrė, could you open up the new slide? Exactly. So we would be dealing with the exemplary case about the Marshall Plan, and this case was developed along with educators from Ukrainian universities, from the university in the West Ukraine in Ternopil, and along with us, they created a case study that was referring to the creation of the Marshall Plan for the restructuring and digitalization of higher education in Ukraine. And this is a highly relevant example about the authentic case studies and authentic design now. So the students had the possibility to create solutions for the problems that are existing. And we will guide you through the development of this case study, and we will show you how to really work through the development to the creation of the case study in a way that you tackle every single point that is going to be important for you and for your students. And in case you want to check more about the project, you can visit our website. We haven't provided a QR code for the registration for course number 2, because if you register for course number 1, you will be automatically enrolled in course number 2 this time. We're piloting the courses together, and we would be really happy to see you. There is still some time to join. We will kick off in 2 hours. So in case you feel that you want to be a part of this experience, then join us during the piloting stage. Thank you.
Thanks, Nelli. And now we are moving to another interesting topics. So I would like to ask Sarita and Valerij to introduce the platform we are going to work with.
Welcome to the topic, to the presentation about the topic, the learning management system behind the project. It's a learning management system. My name is Sarita Paudel. I'm from INC University of Applied Science, Austria, and our partner Valerij from Immuni is, we are both going to talk about the learning management system. Can you go to the next, Valerij? So it's the learning management system. It's a backbone of modern remote education or online education. So now it's we are trying to do online, try to educate or trying to get enrolls online and getting certificates in the university. So it's a modern education online is very important in today's modern world, and this learning management system is a very important tool which manages all of the courses which can be online and which can be where all of the educators and also as well as the participants in different courses, learners can benefit a lot from this tool. And so educators can create new courses, can organize and deliver the content of the courses in the form of different formats, can be of different types. And this is a quite good tool for the education online, and also in the collaborative environment. This tool has several features where the students in the course can enroll and collaborate in the group work. For example, they are assigned for the assignments in a group work, so maybe they have to work in a team, and it's a quite powerful tool, so to say, for the modern education online and in the collaborative environment. Can you go to the next, Valerij, please? So it's there are several motivation of selecting this learning management tool. At first, in the online there are many participants. They are participating, they are enrolled, they can enroll in a course, and they are from the remote. There are many participants, quite a lot. Then they can access to the same course, they can access to the same quiz, they can access to the same content of the course online. So so that it has a good feature. It can handle many numbers of students that are enrolled in the course. So one of the feature, it can be scalable. So the scalability of the management system is very good, and the accessibility, so it would provide different learning abilities for different group of peoples, and from anywhere, anytime it is accessible. And also the other feature for selecting the tool is data driven. So it enables the educators to track the process of the participants. So how many of them have enrolled in which course, how many of them have successfully finished the quizzes, how many of them have how many of them have successfully finished the course. As well as all of these progress can be, they can track this progress from the participants, and even providing the feedbacks, discussing on topic, going into in some forums, and handling the questions, answers in the platform. It's a data driven, and this signifies the quality of the education. So it's engagement. It also promotes learning improved via good communication. So they can have good communication via the forum discussion on the topic, and they have several features. So they can register in the course, they can register in a discussion in a forum in different topics, in different subjects. It's like maybe there are several questions regarding assignments, or maybe some topic regarding the content in the course. So this improves the communication, and which also signifies the quality of the education. So this is and not only these features, this is also very secure and protected tool. So data protection laws has been already, these are regulations are made in the tool. So all of the personal data, when we register as a participant for the course, then it's all of these privacy and security things regarding the personal data. These are already quite good, and they are all the regulations are made in the tool. So these tool is then recommended for online and the collaborative learning, and it exactly meets our goal in the project. And we have used this tool, learning management system, in our project OER-CODEX. Can you go to the next slide, Valerij? And so there are several features for the online courses. Then we can easily, there are many features provided, and we can create new courses. We can manage the course content. We can also manage the users, because there are different users, and they might have different roles, and this management is possible in the learning management system. And course assessment, there can be different module of assessing the course, maybe group assignment, single assignment, maybe in terms of quizzes, and these all can be possible using the tool. And we have also already integrated these features in our project, and tracking the progress, collaborating in the assignments, in a group assignments, and so customizing the different features and customizing the content. It's all and many more features are available in the tool, which signifies the uses in the online education. So Valerij, could you please continue the rest of the content?
Yeah, sure. So
I will hand over our partner Valerij. Please continue with the presentation.
Yeah, Mattis explained that in some other projects they used Office 365, or let's say MS Teams, as a kind of a learning system for delivery of VCL courses. But in our case, so in the Codex, OER-CODEX project, we somehow switched to another learning management system, which is called LearnDash. So we are using LearnDash as our learning management system, and we added kind of a discussion forum, because also Mattis also explained that there should be some kind of asynchronous communication taking place during the delivery of the courses. And we used some WordPress plugin, BBPress, as a plugin that offers the functionality of discussion forums. So altogether, so the learning management system and discussion forum are integrated into the project site. So if you go to the project website of our OER-CODEX project, you will be also able to see or even to enter into our courses and into our discussion forums. So our, let's say, learning management system together with BBPress offers kind of a repository of study materials. And it was already explained that we have a lot of different kinds of study materials, multimedia, so readings and videos and some interactive, let's say, features like questions, quizzes, and so on. So all this stuff is available in learning management system. And there is also a place for asynchronous communication between the teachers, between the tutors, and also the attending students. But for synchronous communication, we somehow left the choice to the teachers that are responsible for delivery of the piloting in our case, so they can use whatever video conferencing tool for, let's say, virtual collaborative learning meetings. That might be Zoom, that might be Teams, that might be Google Teams or some other application. And they can also use whatever shared workspace application they want. But I think that they mostly use Google Docs as, let's say, this functionality for sharing the workspace, for working on the same documents and similar stuff. So this is the technical solution we use for our OER-CODEX project. And here you have here I have a short video about that shows our website, and you can see the menu, and in the menu you can see that there is a possibility to enter the courses. Here you have the moment. There are two courses. One is digital resources, so this is the first course, and OER repository. This is kind of a space for storing the assignments that will be produced by the students, by the piloting attendees. And here you see the structure. Structure was already explained of the first course. You can see the lessons, and within the lessons you can see the topics, and there was also the final course and the final quiz. And to log into the course, you have to be registered. And here is the forum that we are using for asynchronous communication. Still, again, you have to be registered, and you have to be logged in to use the forum. So to sum up, so what our WordPress-based system actually offers. So it offers the study materials. So all the study materials are freely available. And also, as the open educational resources that will be produced during the implementation of the courses will be also available to let's say external people who want to let's say to get some information about VCL and open educational resources approaches. That's one of the pluses of our system. Let's say LearnDash plus BBPress. It works perfectly on computers as well as on mobile phone devices. This is very important because I think that today a lot of students somehow communicate with their learning management systems via mobile devices, via their phones. And the whole system supports VCL way of learning, so asynchronous communication, synchronous communication, working on the same documents, storing the documents, and so on. And it offers also self-testing of knowledge. So we mentioned that in all the courses there will be some quizzes and final quizzes. And if you will be successful in those quizzes, you will get some kind of attendance certificate. Behind the system, there is, of course, also some kind of analytics, learning statistics that measures students' success, and the attendance certificates will be issued automatically. So when a student finishes all the lessons, all the topics, and successfully finishes the quiz, the attendance certificate will be automatically given to the student. And additionally, what we are going to install within the system is gamification, because the last courses, I think, they deal with the gamification approaches, and we are going to install also a gamification functionality into the system. So this is shortly about the technical, let's say, background of our OER-CODEX project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we have one more presentation, short presentation, on recognition of competencies and results of study. Nada, floor is yours.
We cannot hear you.
Nada.
Yeah. So the topic is coming at the end, because also the certificate is coming to the ends, no? But we were talking quite a lot also during the presentations, especially Mattis. He said that the credits we have to give to the credits to the participants who really fulfill all of the obligations in the courses. So this is coming one very important topic in the higher education about micro-credential. We know that we have 3 levels of the study programs, so degree, so this is a bachelor, master, and the PhD. And we have quite a lot short programs also in the higher education. Sometimes we are calling a certificate, so the diploma, usually these are with the credits. And the lifelong learning approach is very widely, let's say, known in the also in the higher education and without higher education. This is all the time without the ECTS. In the last 2 years, especially from March 2022, when the European Commission adopted the main document, we are talking about the micro-credential. So this means a short unit of the knowledge which can bring the ECTS. And these micro-credentials are very important, especially if we're looking on the knowledge area from the point of view of the labor market, because the knowledge is going on. And this, let's say, program or the topic of our project is about the teaching and teaching education. And if we know you learned, let's say, a lot of open education resources, those who were educated as a teacher 20 years ago, for example, we didn't get any of this knowledge. And we are teaching the teachers of the future. So somehow the micro-credential as a regulated system is at the beginning. I'm sharing with you part of the presentation that I was following 2 days ago. You see also the very, very new sources from the OECD to 2023. So it is about how the micro-credentials are developed. And there are 2 tracks of the development. One is independently. So this means that the higher education institutions are developing the micro-credential on their own, and the other is in the collaboration with the others. Here we usually have in mind, let's say, different e-platforms that already existed. In our case of the project, we are creating independently. We are for higher education institution, but we try to be very, very linked on the demands of the future teaching. Let's say OECD somehow recognized 4 key features of the micro-credential, that the majority of the micro-credential are prepared online, and this you see it's also our case. They are very linked to the labor market, and our labor market are the future teachers and the teachers who are already in the process. Somehow it's about the certificates, which is still, but Valerij said that the certificates will be automatically as attendance, but those who would like to have the certificate with the ECTS, they will have to show the work that it is behind. If we are talking about the micro-credential in the future, it is under the development. OECD and also the European Commission, it is leaving this to the country. In our case of our project, we are giving the certificates with the ECTS, but it's up to the, let's say, institution, the other institution where the students would like to recognize these credits. So we can't force any institution to recognize, but we are going to follow the standards, the high standards of the quality for the higher education, especially the workload, which is for one ECTS 25 to 30 workload hours. And our courses has 2 ECTS each. And I would like to acknowledge, let's say, that this presentation was really prepared on this NACVIS conference 2 days ago, which was run by the OECD, but prepared in Slovenia. Thank you.
Thank you, Nada. And this was the last presentation about our idea, about our project development. And now we have a few minutes left if somebody has questions, because we had some questions, but thank Mattis, Giedrė, they are already answered in questions and answers space. But if somebody has questions, it's time if you would like to ask our team about maybe idea, tools, or etc. And while we are waiting for questions, I would like to share some more information about activities and events in the future. And from Eden, thanks, of course, thanks for Eden for this event. But you are invited, all of you are invited to Eden Digital Education Leadership Academy, which will be held November 29th, December the 1st, in Barcelona. So it's one option to join Eden event. Another big event, and I also would like to invite everyone to attend Eden Annual Conference 2024. which will be in Graz in Austria in June 2024. And of course, I would highly recommend to join a European Digital Education Hub. I'm a member, I'm attending some activities. So you're welcome to join this hub. And now what we have more, you can scan a QR code and you can see some next sessions, how to empower teachers with critical vision on digital competencies, as well evidence-based approaches to technology use in early education, which will be on Monday, December 4th. So thank you, and I see question. No, it was, but not a question now. So if we have no questions, our session is coming to the end, and we're happy that you were here with us, and of course, thankful for my team for sharing experience and expertise with the listeners. And we hope that it is not last our meeting with you. For these who are interested in this project, so please join, please visit our website and maybe join our course, which is under construction at the moment, but I believe that you will find some useful for yourself. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. See you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.